Hello and welcome to Well Balanced Kids video. Today we're going to be doing camping yoga. That's right, we're going to be exploring the joys of camping through yoga. Do you like going camping? Have you ever had a chance to camp? I used to go camping as a kid with my dad. We used to camp in farmers' fields and in wild countryside and live off buttered toast and sandwiches and beans on toast from the tin, cooked over an open fire. I loved it as a child. It's great to be outside in nature and sleep under the stars. You don't need much, just a tent. So today we're going to be doing camping, and I hope that you get to explore camping in your imagination, even if you've never had the chance to go camping yourself. It's a great fun thing to do if you do get the chance. So when we're camping, it's really nice if it's sunny, because when it's wet, you spend quite a lot of time in your tent and everything gets rather wet and muddy. So we better do our sun salutation warm up to encourage the sun to come out and shine upon us. So are you ready? Let's go. You must be getting quite good at this now. You've done it quite a few times. So let's see how we go, hey? So first of all, make sure those feet are hip width apart and that they're two parallel lines. And just remember, always do things that are kind for yourself. So don't do anything that hurts, and make sure that you listen to your body while you're doing the moves so that you're not stretching anything too far and hurting yourself, okay? So roll your shoulders back 3 times and roll your shoulders forward 3 times. And then put your hands together in prayer pose. And then let's reach up to become a mountain, like this mountain behind me right now. Maybe we're camping on the mountainside. Stretch high, high, high as you can, then let your shoulders drop. Then put your hands on your knee and create a nice flat back. Then hands onto the floor and left foot back into lizard pose. Don't forget to put your knee above your ankle, not too far forward or too far back, and sink those hips down. Then put both legs back into high plank, and let's hold it here for 3, 2, 1, and go into clam position. Down we go. And we can imagine that we're a rock on the mountainside where we're going to pitch our tent. And then draw your nose along and look up in Sphinx pose. And then curl your toes under into downward facing dog. Maybe you've got a dog that you'd like to take with you camping. Let's walk that dog. Dogs love running around in the countryside. And then left foot forward for lizard on the other side. Looking straight down at your big toe to keep your neck aligned. And then bring your other foot forward, flat back, up into mountain pose, and end in prayer. Do you remember? Let's go again then. Hands up tall. Oh, make that mountain super big. We're going to camp on that mountain today. Make sure those shoulders drop down while your hands are reaching to the ceiling. Then flat back and hands down on the floor into lizard pose. Keep your head looking straight down at the floor. Then take your foot back into high plank. Hold for, let's extend it a bit longer, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, into clam. head on the floor. Then into Sphinx, looking up, and then curl your toes into downward facing dog. Push that bottom high into the air, really push back from your hands, trying to create as straight a back as possible. If you can get your heels on the floor, then great, but if you can't, don't worry. It doesn't matter if your knees are a bit bent. It's trying to get that straight back that's the important bit. Then left foot forward into lizard on the other side. Hold it there for a second. Feet together into flat back. Hands up high. Let your shoulders down and into prayer. And just hold it here for a second to let your heartbeat settle. As we are going in for the final round. If we're going to climb that mountain in our camping holiday, we're going to have to be fit. And that means being strong. And we can do that by practicing yoga. So, you ready? Off we go. Hands up tall. Oh, reach the sky. And let your shoulders sink down. Flat back. Hands on the floor. Left foot back into lizard. Then take the next leg back into high plank. Then bring down into clam, head on the floor, bottom on your feet. If it's too strong, put your head on your arms. Then come forward into Sphinx. And roll your toes under, push up and back into downward facing dog. Really push back from those hands. Then left foot forward into lizard on the other side. And then bring your legs together, flat back. Bring your arms up into extended mountain and finish with prayer. Well done, everybody. You're doing really well there. So the first thing we have to do when we go camping, which we need to do, otherwise we'll have nowhere to stay, is put up our tent. So for tent pose, we're going to do tabletop. So make sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your legs and your feet are flat on the floor. And your back is nice and straight. And so here we are, a nice square tent. But perhaps you've got a round tent with like the one that's behind me here. In which case, let's go into cat pose and bend up our backs. Oh, but maybe the wind squished it. So let's put our bellies down and our heads up. And this is what we call angry cat, a tent that's got a bit squished. So let's just do that again. Let's round our backs. So we've got a round back tent. And this pose is happy cat. And then we move this way into angry cat as a squished tent. And let's do it one more time. Round up your back. And the other way. Oh, that wind's blowing. I hope our tent survives the night. So there's lots of flowers where we're staying. Maybe we're in a field. So we're going to do a pose called lotus pose. And for this, we want to just put one foot on top of the other foot. And if you can get both feet up in between each other, then please do so. My legs aren't that flexible, but maybe yours are. If you can get the other foot through this gap here and pull it up in a lotus position, then you can do lotus pose, which we're using to represent flowers all around our tent. And also all around our tent are lots of trees. So let's get into tree pose. So find your drishti point. Do you remember what that was? It's your point of focus. So find something on a wall or something still that you can stare at that isn't going to move, not an animal, not a person, not the moving image on the screen, and focus on it. And then put your foot by your groin or by your ankle and create your tree. Can you hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Well done. Remember, we've got to do the other side as well. So find your focus point again. Get your foot in place and either put your hands by your heart or above your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful trees. Great effort, folks. That's really good. So, as we're outside in the countryside, we're going to see lots of wildlife, aren't we? That's what I love about camping. You're in and amongst nature. So we're going to do pigeon pose, as we might see some pigeons. So for pigeon pose, we bring one foot all the way forward. Let me do it this side first. And we just bring our foot a little bit out so it's not directly underneath us. And then we bring the other foot all the way back. Oh, look. That was my cat. Oh, my cat's come through. What's she done to our tent? She's come out the tent. And then put the one leg back. And you can just leave it here if you like. Or you can put your hands down. Or you can put your head down. Give yourself a good, strong stretch along the legs. I think my cat wants to join in with my yoga. What's she up to? She's looking into the tent. She clearly wants to join in with the camping, doesn't she? Okay, let's do the other side. So bring your leg forward and the other foot back. And either stay up in this position or bring your hands down or come all the way down and rest your head on the floor into this pose. It's really nice for stretching out your legs, that one. So there's also what other creatures might come and visit us while we're camping. Perhaps there's some squirrels coming down from the trees. So for squirrels, I'm going to do a squat pose. So feet hip width apart, sink down. We normally call this frog pose in yoga, but I think if you imagine you're eating some nuts, it could be a squirrel. Now you might be able to get your feet flat on the floor like this on both sides. And if you can, well done. My hamstrings are a bit tight, so my feet have to sink up. And that's just it. Sometimes our legs are more flexible than others. And that's okay, as long as we're trying our best. So as the sun goes down, we all get warm and cozy in our tents. And as we get warm and cozy in our tents, we look out at the night sky. And what do we see? But the moon. So let's pretend to be the moon and sit ourselves down, cross-legged, and put one arm down on the floor and create a moon shape by stretching over, feeling that lovely long stretch along our side of our body, and up we come. And now we're going to do the moon on the other side. So rest your hands down and stretch all the way over, down to the other side. And of course, we're in the middle of the countryside, so there's no electricity. We can't turn on the light. Maybe you've got a torch but I happen to have a box of candles and a candlestick. So we're going to do candlestick pose. So watch this pose first before you go into it, because once you're in this pose, I don't want you twisting your neck. It's really, really important that you don't twist your neck and try and look at the screen, see what I'm doing. So just watch what I do and then do it, okay? So lie yourself back down with your hands by your side, and this pose goes in 3 parts. First of all, we put up our legs, and if that's all you feel comfortable with, that's fine. If you're happy going further, you can push yourself back, and when you push yourself back and you have your legs over your head, just make sure that your hands are on your back at the base of your spine, supporting your lower back, and your head looking straight up. And then finally, if you feel comfortable, push your legs all the way up and try and create a nice straight shape with your body, looking up at your toes. And this is candlestick pose. And you can have your feet with your toes pointing down, or you can have your feet and your toes pointing up. And hold it there for 3, 2, and 1. And then come down slowly the way you went up. So can you do that? I'll do it one more time. Make sure you don't twist your head. Lying back down, legs up, push up and over, and then legs up straight, hands supporting your lower back. It's really important that you use your hands to support your lower back so you don't damage your back at all. And hold for 3, 2, 1, and come back down. Well done, everybody. You did a really good try there. Finally, we're going to get to sleep in our sleeping bags. And I thought we could do a nice resting dove pose for this, because it looks kind of like you're in your sleeping bag, but it could also be a dove that has flown by the campsite. So we lie down and we put one hand on the opposite shoulder and the other hand on the other shoulder, as if you're giving yourself a nice warm hug. And you might need to give yourself a warm hug if it's cold out on the campsite. And just let your back sink into the floor. And then just see which elbow you have on the top and which is on the bottom, and swap over. So the one that's on the top is on the bottom, and the one that's on the bottom is on the top. This might feel a bit odd because we tend to do the one we're most familiar with first. So when we do the second one, it can feel a little bit strange. Just do that to let your arms and shoulders stretch out. And imagine you're in a lovely, cozy sleeping bag, all snuggled up warm in your tent, having fun camping. And let go. And roll onto your side and push yourself up. And as we get up in the morning, we see lots of beautiful flowers outside our tent. So let's do our flower stretch with our nice straight back and our toes pointing up to the ceiling, hands up straight as we open our petals and touch our toes as we close them. And as I always say, if you can't touch your toes like this, bend your knees so that you can. Doesn't matter if you have to bend your knees. And one stretch for luck. And there we have it. I hope you enjoyed our camping trip. I certainly enjoy going camping. So today's mindful activity is a bit of mindful walking. As when we go camping, sometimes we like to go for nice walks through the countryside. And mindful walking is an activity that enables us to really focus on how we walk, because we rarely think about walking. We use it just as a way to get from A to B, and often we might be thinking about what's going to happen or what's just happened, or we might be talking to family and friends, and so we don't pay attention to what our feet are doing. But mindful walking is a really good way of just bringing ourselves into the present and focusing on the present and just forgetting about all our worries. So let's do some mindful walking together. It's super simple. Have a good look at your feet and just rock back and forth and feel where the weight is on your feet. Come to a still stop. Is the weight mainly on your heels or the ball of your foot? Is the weight on the front of your foot or the back of your foot or the side of your foot? Now, take the slowest step you've ever taken. So bring your foot up and then put it down with your heel, and then put down the ball of your foot. And as you do, you lift up your back foot until the back foot is just on the heel, on the ball of the foot. And then you bring that foot up and you place the ball of the foot down, and then the heel of the foot down, and then the ball, and bring your foot, back foot, up to join it. So I'm going to do this on the mat so you can see what I'm doing. So first step, heel, ball, toes, back foot, up to ball, heel, ball, toes, heel comes up, ball, heel, ball, toe, back foot, up to ball, heel, ball, toe, back foot comes up. So can you see how I'm just going super slowly, being really conscious of every move I make? Let's do it again. And this time, rather than focusing on what I'm saying, really think about what's happening with your feet. Go super slowly. Heel, ball, toes, ball, up, heel, ball, toes, heel, ball, toes, heel, ball, toes. And you can keep doing that for as long as you like. And next time you're walking to school or going to the shop, just think for a moment about how you walk and focus on how your feet feel. It's a really good way of stopping worrying about whatever's worrying us, focusing on what's going on in our present and in our bodies. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now we're going to do a breathing exercise. And because we're camping, the breathing exercise is called petal breathing. And we use our hands as if they were flowers. And we close them up tight as if all the petals had closed up. And then as we breathe out, we slowly open the petals. So we breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And one more time, breathe in and breathe out. If you practice that, if you're having trouble getting to sleep, it can really help you relax, keep calm, and slowly drift to sleep. So now's our time for Savasana, our relaxation. So get yourself comfy, find a cushion or a blanket or something that will help you relax. And try to lie on your back with your feet just lolling out and your hands on the floor with your palms facing upwards, whatever's comfortable for you. And when we're comfy, now we shall begin. Today we are imagining that we're camping in a field with woods nearby, and we are going for a walk in those woods. And the woods are full of trees that are tall, with branches reaching up into the sky. And the leaves are filtered with sunlight shining through them, casting shadows on the ground. And there are lots of leaves and twigs on the ground. And as we walk through the woods, our feet crunch on the leaves and the twigs, making cracking noises and letting us know that we are deep in the woods, safe and sound with someone we love. And we look up into the sky, which is blue, and the sun shining down, and we marvel at all the different colours of the leaves that are yellow and brown and green and orange. And we can see a stick that looks so much fun that we might pick it up and turn it into a wand or a sword or magic something or other. And we might build a den by picking up loads of other sticks and stacking them against the trunk and build a little hidey hole. Or we might pick up leaves that are beautiful colours and beautiful shapes. But there's so much to look at in nature, and there's so much to look at in the woods. And aren't we lucky to be able to go to the woods whenever we want in our imaginations? Isn't it great that we have imaginations that can take us places that we may or may not ever get to go to? And we can go camping in our imaginations, and we can go exploring. And so I'm going to leave you exploring the wonders, the beautiful nature that surrounds us, that we can look after, for 30 seconds of silence, to enjoy the music and the imagination of being in the woods. When you're ready, sit up and bring your hands together. And let's say Namaste. I hope you've enjoyed going camping with me today in this yoga session. Let's also say, the goodness in me sees the goodness in all of you. I look forward to seeing you again for another yoga session soon. Take care. Bye-bye.